Welcome to Crushgasm, the podcast that's dedicated to the highs and lows of crushes. But this month we're crushing on all things spooky, from horror to movies to books and a few things in between. And we're here with a couple of people who may or may not die first in a horror movie, Harvey Laguerre and DeAndre Robinson. One host, Love is Black and Men Are The P.R.I.Z.E, and the other host, Masturbators. But at the end of the day, they're both amazing fathers, partners, and podcasters who are here to talk about Black folks and horror movies. Harvey, Dre, how are you two?
Good.
Well, I'm afraid because I don't want to die first.
That would have been, how great would that have been? Before we start talking, somebody dies. That would have been
That's going to be the blackening part 2 with like podcasters on Zoom, and they're all like, wow, one by one. But before we get into this, can you tell people where they can find you and your shows online? We'll go alphabetical. Which is my last name, Harvey. I think.
Cool. All right. You can find my podcast, Men Are The P.R.I.Z.E, on my website, harveylaguerre.com, HarveyLaguerre.com. You can also find Love is Black podcast at loveisblackpodcast.com. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. Exciting. All the social media, all that stuff is there, or you can just put in our names or my name and you'll find me. But if you look for DeAndre Robinson, I feel like I'm like one name away. What's that, 6 degrees? I'm like 1 degree away from DeAndre at this point. So you can check on that guy and then he'll tell you, who's that guy?
So yeah, some of you watch Crease 2 without seeing White Crease 2. All right, so anyway, my name is DeAndre Robinson, host of Masturbators. You can find Masturbators everywhere, legitimately everywhere. You can find podcasts, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, everywhere. You find podcasts, and we do community debates through drafts and brackets, and yeah. We're live on Tuesdays at 5:45 p.m. PT, and we come out with 2 to 3 episodes a week. And yeah, we just want you to have fun. And please don't, I'm not trying to die first.
Well, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off right away and get into it. The trope that Black people always seem to die first in horror films, and how, while that's got some truth to it, it's not necessarily that accurate, because a lot of Black characters have made it to the end, like Keith David in The Thing, Brandy and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, LL Cool J in Deep Blue Sea, and so many others mentioned in a wonderful article by Rich Knight up on Cinema Blend. With that, why do you think that trope is still something that's treated like the gospel truth?
It's easier to believe. I think it's just something that we've believed, we've seen, we think we've seen. So it's just easier. And, I don't know, to a degree, I think as Black people, because I think we're the ones that talk the most about it. I think we kind of like being victims in these films. Like it's always us. So it's easy to just kind of sit in that victim mode. That would be my guess.
So yeah, Harvey's right. It's easy to believe. I mean, obviously it's not true. It's funny to talk about it, especially when you're Black. It's that underlying, undercover like joke we have. But it's not entirely accurate, no. And black people, I really do think most Black people know that. However, though, if you, it's not accurate, but it's believable if you take in non-horror movies as well, though. Mm-hmm. If you take in gangster movies, you take in I think Jurassic Park, Samuel Jackson died first. So like
not first, but he don't make it to the end. He's on that helicopter.
He's one of them. He's one of the people that died first. But I'm saying that if you add in factors of non-horror movies, then we let's say this. We don't make it to the end a lot. Let's say that. All right. The movies that I remember making to the end a lot, I think it was LL Cool J in that one movie, Brandy and I Still Do Last Summer, and I thought she died, and all the Black horror movies. Besides that, I don't remember anything else.
You know what? I think that it might just, and I'm not to get all serious here for a quick second, but I feel like this trope kind of parallels our real life to a degree. Racism is here and it's always going to be here. But what we're dealing with in 2023 is not what our parents dealt with in 1963. So racism is still here. So we're going to still say racism exists, but we have to do some degree kind of agree that it's better than it was before. So to take this trope and say, you know what, back then it might have been true, because hell, we weren't in horror movies to begin with. Before that, we weren't even in movies, to then go to the point where now we're in them, but now they just kill us because it's quick, to get to the point where, hey, we even direct them and we make them and we make sure that we survive. So we're progressing, but it's still easier to just sit in this, oh shit, I'm gonna die. They still doing the credits. Who's the, who's the buffer as I get stabbed or something? It's easier to think that way. But like I said, it's kind of easy to sit in that victimhood, but it's getting better. And the best way to do it is just we come up with our movies and ourselves, and the whole cast is black. Somebody's got to make it, right?
So, so just being like what Harvey said, with black casted or black directed movies, horror movies, by the way. My only thing is I would wish that it was more respected. They're more respected. There are some really good horror movies directed, black horror movies directed. Peele, Us and Get Out are fucking great. And, Rotten Tomatoes, like we're doing, Maximus is doing the horror movie bracket again, and they're ranked 2 and 4. Get Out is ranked 2 out of 200, and Us is ranked 4th out of 200. So we're getting respect from Rotten Tomatoes, which it's Rotten Tomatoes, but we're not getting respect from the voters, because when I say that from the skin of the teeth that Get Out won, and it beat Misery, and I'm not saying Misery is a bad movie. I want to make sure that it's not, but I personally don't think Misery is a horror movie, personally. But my saying is that I don't think that black horror movies get the respect that it deserves.
Well, we'll talk more about Jordan Peele in a minute, but what I found more interesting in horror than the final black was the token friend, The Craft, It, The Faculty, Stranger Things, Cabin in the Woods. It's like white people in horror can't fathom more than one black person in their social circle. Is that something you ever noticed in horror movies?
It's in everything. It annoys the hell out of me when you watch a TV show and you know what they do. Sounds terrible. What is done in these shows and movies is we don't get a plethora of black people. We just get like the important black person. So if you think about watch Law and Order, aside from a lot of the criminals being black and maybe an attorney, the way to make sure a black person is always in the scene is he or she's the judge. So they just give that person power. We don't get quantity. We just get them the important person. And that's a trope in all movies. So of course you see that in horror. It's that best friend. You could hear the music play when that black friend is walking because you know it's about to go down. It's always been there. And I would rather like there are no black people in the cast because all the white people just fit than stick a black person who didn't belong in there just to say that we were diverse or we were inclusive. Like it is. I'm used to seeing movies without black people. And it is what it is, and horror is no different.
Speaking of what Harvey said, it's everywhere. Legitimately, that token friend is everywhere. Legitimately, South Park had a black character named Token.
Well, it's Tolkien.
Yeah, and they knew what they were doing, but and they ran with it. And that was actually horrible. And that's actually brilliant. Can I say that's brilliant?
Yes, but it's everywhere though. And Harvey's right. There's not a quantity of, let's just say, white horror movies that have a lot of black
cast members.
Cast members in it. Right. They're either the token close friend, a person of power, or a drug addict, or somebody crazy as fuck. So drug addict crazy as fuck. And yeah, so I wish for a fact that there was more. I'm okay with not having white quote unquote white horror movies just being all white, because there are a lot of movies, especially in the 80s, that were all white. I mean, I'm tired of the movies, even just out of horror as well. I'm tired of movies that they're in some random like white town and they have that random black guy. random black guy. Not another teen movie, a horrible movie as it is, did it fucking perfectly. Did it fucking perfectly. I'm only in some scene because I'm a black guy. Like, did it perfectly. So I'd rather Harvey. I'd rather have just they're all white and make it believable than I'm gonna say it too. I'm not saying that there never been any tokens, because there definitely are. Not tokens, but black people in white groups, because there definitely are. I'm just saying that I'd rather see it just be all white, and not segregated, not segregated as well, but I'd rather be truthful, and to me it doesn't feel truthful to me.
But I do think that the trope of like the black people always dying first, the token character, did lead us to a franchise that started out soaring but lost its wings once the Wayans brothers were no longer behind it or involved in that Scary Movie. But again, it started out pretty perfect, spoofing almost every cliche and horror movie concept that there was at the time. What was your initial reaction to Scary Movie when it dropped 23 years ago now?
It was amazing. Scary movie 1 and 2. Listen, and people hate when I say this, but it's the truth. Nobody can fuck with the Wayans brothers when it comes to spoof movies. It really is. I mean, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. I don't know. Don't Be Messed Sexual Introduced in the Hood. Scary Movie 1 and 2. Haunted House 1 and 2, which is actually underrated. Dance flick, like whatever. These motherfuckers can make a spoof movie, and it's amazing. Scary Movie 1 and 2, Scary Movie was hilarious. I think Scary Movie 2 is better. So Scary Movie 2 is fucking amazing.
That hand in the potatoes.
take my strong hand.
My friends in high school and me would, to this day, were like, take my strong hand.
and it was just amazing. Like I love how they they didn't miss anything in horror movies too. They did every single cliche, especially in 1 and 2, and took it and ran with it. And I loved it so much. I personally love Scary Movie 1 and 2.
I think what's so good about those movies is that they went through every trope. They didn't go through just the black ones. The black ones are in there. That's what made it better. I was sitting there waiting for them to do the black trope, the best friend, or whatever. Every trope was in there, including the black girl, the loud black woman in the movie theater, all this stuff. And they hit everything, and they were amazing. And when you have a family that's in the business, the Wayans family, they're all in it. That's why it works out. They've seen all these tropes. I mean, with Keenan is cool with Robert Townsend. So you know all that stuff together. They hit everything. Black people in the business see it different. A black director is going to see it different than a white director, than of Clive or any other director, Francis Ford, whatever. We see film, we see the business, in our vision, so I love the fact, and I love horror movies. So I laughed at the Scary Movies and thinking a black person made this. There was black people in the room when this was written or directed, and that doesn't always happen.
Well, for a long time, you guys mentioned it earlier, horror did feel like a very white space. And I know we have Candyman, Jordan Peele, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But sticking with the Wayans brothers and their spoofs, and most recently, The Blackening, really delivering, I think, more laughs than scares. Do you think that black people approach horror with humor because in reality, we just face way scarier things than ghosts and goblins?
I would like to just go first. This one, Harvey, is mine. My co-host and one of my closest friends, Cam, and watch the draft, and should be on some of the drafts as well. Cam says it perfectly, and I never thought about the reason why I don't be scared. Like I'm scared, like maybe one or two. I was scared of 1 or 2 movies ever, and that was it. It wasn't really it. 1990, which really was a movie, a miniseries, and Tales from the Hood. Now, Tales from the Hood, only reason I Tales from the Hood because those fucking porcelain dolls. My foster mom had one of the porcelain dolls, and I swear the motherfuckers moved. The motherfuckers moved like when I moved. That's the only 2 reasons why. But outside of that, scary movies are like comedy to me. I always eat popcorn and fucking laugh. And what she said was that it's not realistic. It's not realistic, and we go through a lot of horrible shit to this day. The reason why Get Out, and again, we'll talk about Jordan Peele. The reason why Get Out is one of my favorite horror movies, because again, I'm not saying that a lot of white people will come around with a spoon in a cup. However, though, that's just more realistic to me than fucking Freddy coming, or Jason coming, or or whatever. So it's not really realistic to me. So I can't be. I personally am not scared of things that are not realistic to me. Period.
I think what's interesting with horror, and for a lot of white directors who do horror, there's this tendency to go to the supernatural. You go to stuff that's kind of hard to believe. And I mean, it would be kind of ridiculous to be like, white people aren't scared of a lot of things. So when they do horror, they have to do stuff that's not believable, to have to do crazy stuff. If you look at black directors, black horror movies, we don't have to go to those lengths. Get Out is horror in some real, I mean, it's a stretch, but like the underlings, like the beginnings of it, is just him dating some white girl. And it's just like this stuff, horror for us can be related to real life. Versus for, I'll say, people from the Caucasus Mountains, it has to be Freddy Krueger. It has to be Jason. It has to be the spiky guy. The stuff they have to come with, the shit that they have to come up with to scare themselves is epic. While we can take walking down the street and make it the scariest thing. That's how Get Out starts.
My man walked down a white neighborhood.
He's walking down. That's the beginning. That's the essence of that movie, just being black. And I know white people are going to hear that, or other people are going to say, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's true. Sometimes just living is difficult enough. So you tweak it a little bit, and all of a sudden it's a horror movie. All of a sudden it's rated R, and it's some crazy shit. So I don't know. I think that's it.
And to piggyback on what Harvey said, I mean, on some real shit. And again, I'm gonna go back to Tales from the Hood. If you watch, so Tales from the Hood is like 4 stories in one. And one was the porcelain dolls. And a lot of black family had those fucking porcelain dolls. No, porcelain dolls horrible. There was a zombie cop. Now, the thing about the zombie cop is that he had racist fucking partners. They pissed on when he died, they pissed on his grave. And that's what made him mad. They had an abusive father. One of those stories, the abusive father. And a kid that had magical powers when he drew. Like it was real shit that, like Harvey said, tweaked a little bit and then just made it horror.
Totally agree. I think that my old roommate, she's white, she loves horror, and I was like, these aren't that scary. I'm not scared of this paranormal activity because I know this shit is never gonna happen. But you make a horror movie about cops or something, I'm probably gonna be terrified for the rest of the night. So I totally agree with what you guys are coming with. I also think white people, not just horror, but I think that's why they're really into like extreme sports and stuff. Like they need that adrenaline rush. I have this theory as well. It's why they skydive more than we do. It's why they're like, oh, let's go hop off a cliff or some shit. But yeah, that's not, because she also did jump out of an airplane. I was like,
so I'm not gonna lie, I jumped out of an airplane for him.
Oh, that's not white in you.
I'm not gonna lie, I've done it before. It's not bad. Listen, I need to lose like 50 pounds, and I'm going to do it again. Down true. Like, you gotta be 250 or less, and I gotta lose a lot more weight. But it's not. It was fun. It was scary as shit. I'm not gonna lie, but it was fun.
No. Stay grounded. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the 90s, because while the 80s had a few black characters here and there in horror, the 90s was really when black folks started to become more than, I'll say, the sidekicks, thanks to movies like Candyman. You mentioned Tales from the Hood. We had People Under the Stairs. We also had Ice Cube and LL Cool J in movies like Anaconda, like I said, Deep Blue Sea. What do you think changed in the 90s that inspired this sort of birth of something new for black people in the horror genre?
Hip hop. I'm not gonna lie. What came to the top of my head for some reason, the hip hop culture, and people just think that hip hop is just music, but that culture, it changed a lot. It changed a lot for sports. It changed a lot for movies. It changed a lot for what you read and so what you watch. Like hip hop culture. And for us to stand up for ourselves as well and fight for ourselves to get on a lot of shit as well. I'm not saying they didn't do it in the 80s, but I'm saying definitely in the 90s. Cause I do remember what Anaconda, Cube said that he's not doing a movie if he dies.
It's in his contract.
In his contract. If he dies, he's not going to do the movie. I think LL Cool J has something similar as well in Deep Blue Sea, something like that. And so the hip hop culture, like, it made us stand up for ourselves for a lot of shit. So that's the first thing that came into my mind. Go ahead, Harvey.
I agree. And what I see, and you guys know I'm an 80s, like, that's my thing. So a lot, the 80s is, it's Michael, it's Prince, it's Whitney and stuff like that. But towards the end of the 80s and then going into the 90s, it's musically, we really start to take over. That's when we're really more represented, aside from the anomalies that are Michael and Prince, Whitney, stuff like that. Then hip hop, then it's like gangsta hip hop kind of comes and we take over music. We're number one all the time, where occasionally we weren't. So we have to be represented in every form of media. If it's music and we're taking over, then we're going to do a horror movie. Chances are we're on the soundtrack, which means we need to be in the movie, which means now I'm a rapper. I have more power, and I'm not just going to do this movie for fun. Now I need to be represented. We parallel music, we start taking over, we start being more representative. I think it's the same thing for movies. It took longer for us to get directors to do horror, but we still had the Hughes brothers, and we still had, Spike Lee is on the push also. But if you look at media, I guess the best way to say it, as Black people move in, we change everything that we're a part of. So we change music, we change movie, we change TV. There's more of our TV shows on, all of it. The more we're part of it, the more we have to be in horror movies. We have to be in everything.
It's interesting you say hip hop. I remember a few years ago, the news was like, what was more influential to music? The Beatles are the entirety of hip hop. And I was like, are you kidding me? Hip hop is like more than music. It is fashion. It is like our vernacular. It is so much ingrained into just like culture, not just pop culture. So glad you said that, because that's what I was thinking too. I was like, well, it's the hip hop explosion. It was in not just the Black communities, like little white kids in the suburbs. Love them some hip hop.
Damn right they do.
I took a hip hop class in college with a little old white man who was actually a jazz professor, but he kind of just like gave us this hip hop history book. It was one of my favorite classes. Unfortunately, it was at 8 a.m., so I did miss it quite a few times. But were you gonna say something, Dre?
I was going to say, when you said the white kids in the suburbs, I mean, they doing a do-rag like I have on right now with the wave cap. And one of my favorite things, not 90s, but one of my favorite like sketch comedy, and I'm a big Chappelle Show fan, but when he did trades boxes, and the little white kids listen to 50 Cent, say, I'm from the street, man, G, you know, say, you are, get your ass in the car. and he left him in the hood. He said, all right, we got your some rocks. Goodbye. Oh my God. But you're right, man. The white kids influenced by hip hop, I mean, they bought a lot of our shit. They bought a lot of our music, the fashion, the everything. So if hip hop and Black culture, quote unquote, was pushed so hard, we have to put that in everything. So you have to make sure that we didn't die as much. We didn't.
Yeah, if Ice Cube's selling, you can't really let the snake swallow him whole. But do you have any favorite Black horror movie icons of the 90s?
Candyman's my favorite. I love that guy. I love that. That was fun in general, and it's an interesting idea. Can't say his name 3 times, and just like it's simple. Good horror isn't crazy. Good horror, it doesn't have to be, there doesn't have to be a lot of things going on. You take what's relatively believable and you tweak it a little bit and you can make it scary. And I think that's why Candyman worked. It was just in the neighborhood. It was just something that kids heard. It was this myth. And if you do this, you think about that. It's not that hard to believe. You could scare a kid with something simple like that.
I mean, for sure.
And that's why it was perfect. It was easy. It didn't require me to fall asleep and some being to come out. It didn't require this whole story about you killing me and I just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. It's just here. This guy's gonna show up. He's gonna look like you, and then he's gonna kill you. And that's horrible enough for me. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think that's why Candyman worked.
He became the God of truth. Not gonna lie. Just some Googling to make sure I didn't miss anything. There's not a lot of black creatures in horror in the 90s. In the 90s. But the two I'm going to talk about right now, I'm going leaving Candyman. But again, I talk about Tales from the Hood because Tales from the Hood is, I'm from the hood, from Philly, so one of the more black horror movies that I've watched. And the end, the devil scene scared the shit out of a lot of people. Well, that's not really me because I really it's what it is, but you're in hell, and they start burning up. And I forgot the guy's name too. He's an iconic black actor that played the devil and the stories. But so that guy, and then Carver's gonna probably love this one. I forgot his name, but Eddie Murphy in Vampire in Brooklyn. his Vampire. Oh man, the best scene, one of the best. Listen, one of the scenes I saw when I saw it for the first time. Let me spit my water out. When he was in the church. He was in the church. Said, "Oh goddamn!" He started burning up. He made everybody go outside and have church. Oh my god! So yeah, so I'm gonna go with those two movies and those two characters right there.
I love the black chick in The Craft just because I was like, finally a black girl and something spooky. That's cool. And like the whole thing with it was her hair, and I had like a lot of issues with my hair growing up, so I totally related to that. I didn't have like Marsha Brady from the Brady Bunch movie coming at me, but still. So we're gonna get to the icing on this particular cake, and that's Jordan Peele, because it would be hard to argue that with just 3 movies, even just that one, Get Out, he was able to cement himself as like one of the most celebrated horror directors of all time. I know it's one of your favorites, Dre, mine as well, but how do you both remember, do you remember your initial reaction after watching that movie?
Get Out made me not trust white people in spoons and I did not. So everybody out there in podcast land, my fiance and mother of my 2 children is white. Yes, she is. I have no problem saying that. I love my fucking life. However, I told her from jump, if I meet your mom and she has a tea in a spoon, I'm knocking that shit out of her hand. And she tried that shit too, but she because Emily told her. And then I'm like this, like, no, don't listen. I would knock that shit out your hand. They didn't know it because she lives in. So little backstory. My fiance lives in Seaside, Oregon, which is literally the whitest place ever. When I lived there for a year when I moved out here from Philly to Oregon for work, and I lived there for a year. And the only black people that lived there, and I'm not even joking, it was me, my good friend Reese, and a bartender who didn't date black guys. That was it. And it was a whole sea of white. So yeah, so you damn
it's more right. Like sea white.
Yeah. So you damn right. That initial movie, that part right there, because again, do I think that a lot of people don't know hypnosis? No. Do I do hypnosis is real? Hypnosis is real? Maybe a little bit. However, though, I'm not the dumbass to find out. So, so you try that shit if you want to. I'm knocking that shit right out your hand. So yeah, that's my initial take on that.
I remember. I mean, I like Jordan Peele, but I remember even the promos. What did it for me was the music. I think that's what did it. Childish Gambino, that a really good horror movie. Obviously, we know music. We know some of these villains just by the music that's played. The villain, his music isn't attached to like one villain. It's just represented to the experience. Like he took some Childish Gambino's good thing, but you think I got 5 on it and took that and slowed that shit down.
Oh yeah,
and it's brilliant. So we just take things and make it better. And I don't ever remember hearing that song and thinking that it could give me a haunting kind of feel. But when you take it and you take the instrumentation that he took with it, slowed it down, like God damn, that is brilliant, man. Everything about it was fun. And I remember thinking, I can't wait to go see that. And we ran out and saw that, me and the wife, and we're happy. I don't get scared much, but I was enthralled. I was just interested. What are they going to do? And one of the few times I didn't see what the actual story was, what the actual plot was. Usually I can tell. It took me longer than usual to figure out exactly what they were getting at. And I should have picked it up earlier, but it was just well done. And it made me happy to see a movie, a genre that I love, done by by somebody who looks like me. So I was
Also shocking that before that he did Keanu with the cat. So that was kind of like, wow, the guy who did Keanu is good, and then just turns around and does probably, I think, the best horror movie of the 21st century. Genius. And, I mean, oh, and if you've never seen the Key and Peele sketch where he does Gremlins 2 and he's the consultant, that is his mode. Like, I love Get Out, but that is my favorite thing Jordan Peele's ever done. Please look it up.
Okay.
So how do you think Get Out compares to Us and Nope? Because obviously he came out of the gate fucking, wilding with Get Out, and Us and Nope are great, but I think people still go back to Get Out as his best. But Us and Nope are great too.
I think that Get Out is chef's kiss. However, though it does go down. Now here's for me, and I don't want, and again, shout out to Key and Peele. He's amazing, but it does go down for me. Get Out is on the top. Us is not bad. Like it's fucking fantastic actually, but once you make Get Out,
yeah, it's really hard to.
It's hard to keep that thing. So it is Get Out, Us, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not like Nope. I didn't. It was fucking weird. It was fucking weird as hell. I hate the aliens. Oh my god, the like a paper plane that was wet. Paper wet that opened
plane.
up. Oh my god, it was just so it was weird. It's a weird concept. It was hard.
He said that he wanted to make his like Jaws, like have this like looming monster, and I think what like Get Out, perfect start to finish, perfection of a movie, from the writing to the score to the acting. Us, what I like is that one was actually like really scary. That one scared me just because of the fact like, oh, the scissors and everything. And Nope's just like a beautiful movie, how he shot it in the dark. I'll give him the technical for Nope, but the story, it was a little.
For me, I remember when I think of these three movies, I kind of compare him to M. Night Shyamalan. Whatever the hell his name is. The first one is an absolute classic. I See Dead People. That is brilliant. And then it's crap from then on in. And I don't think Jordan's drop off is as significant as M. Night's. But I personally, I was not a fan of Us. I didn't like Us that much.
Oh,
I mean, it was okay, and maybe because I went in there hype.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, Get Out is ridiculous. Let's go, and I left there. Nope,
like, this is fine.
Yeah, exactly. It set such a precedent that I expected more. Any other person puts Us out, wow, that's cool. But he puts that out. I'm like, that's not Get Out. And that's what's gonna happen when you put out perfection. When you put out great movies, musicians get that same thing. Yeah. Doggy Style is an absolute classic first album. That second one, what the fuck was that? That's the difference. And that's the dip. I think Jordan Peele's the same thing. And then
Get Out's his Doggy Style.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Perfect. Doggy Style's like a 10, perfectly produced. Everything is on point. It's just misogynistic enough to get by. It's all the same foolishness on there. Get Out was great, but then I don't know, but still better than most, but just not up to par based on what he's come up with. At least that's what
and the M. Night Shyamalan, because Harvey and I again, when it comes to things, like a lot of things, I respect Harvey's mindset. A lot of things, I disagree with one thing Harvey said about M. Night Shyamalan. It was that fact that Sixth Sense, fucking fantastic. I will say that. But when you say it's a super drop off, I don't know, because I do like some other shit that M. Night Shyamalan did. Unbreakable. Unbreakable was fucking fantastic. Unbreakable is so good.
I hated Unbreakable.
The
Village was ass.
The Village was fucking
horrible. It was terrible. Signs was trash.
Signs was not bad.
It was
Signs was not that bad.
Come on.
Signs wasn't that bad.
But Split was hilarious.
I didn't see Split.
Split was good. Now, Glass was horrible. Glass was fucking horrible. Split was actually pretty good. So that's my first thing. Second thing, the reason why I love Get Out as well, and the reason why I kind of despise Jordan Peele for this one thing, is that he didn't put out the one ending that it probably should have had. If you want to see the alternate ending of Get Out, just go on YouTube, say Get Out alternate ending. Spoiler for people that's listening, the end of Get Out, his friend comes pick him up. He kills all the white people. His friend come pick him up and say, "Yo, I told you," and then they drive off. The alternate ending is, who comes up is a cop, and he goes to jail. And his friend is talking to him through a jail. What's called? It's called. If you want to look again, give yourself about 5 minutes. Go on YouTube, look at the alternate ending of Get Out.
That's realistic.
That's what I thought was gonna happen. I was like, oh no, he's going to jail. Okay. So where do you hope Jordan Peele and other like upcoming Black writers and directors take the horror genre? Like, because obviously, like Harvey said, everything we touch, we make it better.
Well, to me, it need to be something original. I'm tired. I mean, even Jordan Peele did it. I mean, he said produced it, but it was Candyman. I mean, I want to see some other shit that I haven't seen before. I don't want to see Freddy Krueger top 25. I don't want to see Halloween 1,000. All right. I mean, you took literally Jason everywhere. You took him to space. All right?
That's true.
Oh no, not Fast and Furious 9.
Right. Listen, I want to see if you want to do something original, do something original. Actually, Harvey Kendrick, use your idea. Make a horror movie about cops. I'm doing cops. You want to scare the shit out of me? All right, I don't know, some racist alien cops. I don't know, some shit. But I wanted something original. I don't want to see the same shit over and over again. That's just me personally.
I think I'm different from you, and obviously I'm older, and I have a penchant, a joy from like the classics. One thing that Jordan Peele did is that he went back and he redid Twilight Zone. And I love the Twilight Zone. I love that. It was fantastic. I would be interested, while he's making original new content, for him to inject us into older content, into other films, and see what would change if all of a sudden there was a Black character in it. I would love to just see movies. You know how movies could be a lot shorter if every time you stuck a Black person, maybe one or two in, and then you hear the music and white people are always going towards it. And it would just be these short films of Black people like, and we run off, and then the credits, because the shit is over. Nobody dies because nobody stayed around. Like, it would be funny if you just did a bunch of those 20 movies that they cut out of, instead of an hour and 45 minutes, 4 minutes. The first violin hits, Black people break out, and then the movie's over. I think it would be hilarious. But originality, definitely. But I think putting a little Blackness into some film, a little twist into some film, I think might make it more interesting to see where we fit in old tropes, in old films, in old scripts. Would be interesting to see, but you need the right Black directors and producers and writers and editors to do it. And I think you've got people who could do it, given the opportunity.
So going off what Kendra just asked, she asked like where horror movies should go. And she didn't say just all Black directors. She said directors. So one thing that I really wanted, that there was some throwing ideas in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. I did want to see. Now I know you said one original shit, but I'm going to piggyback on something I just said. I do want to see versus shit. Freddy vs. Jason, horrible as it is, I love. I'm not gonna lie. Horrible as it is, I love. And they was just close to making Chuck versus Leprechaun. All right. They were that close to making that. All right. So I would love to see some death matches. I would love to see some more verses. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, me the carnage that I am. There's that Hellraiser versus Pinhead, some shit like that. Like oh my, like I would love to see some shit like that. God is true. We
Well, Chucky versus Leprechaun would be really funny. I'd be cheering on Chucky, my boy. But lastly, where do you think the genre of horror would be without all the Black folks, from the ones who died first to the ones who survived to the ones that have thrived behind the scenes?
Where would horror be without Black people? I think that's a loaded question. For the ones in the movies, for a lot of those movies where Black people died just because, I don't know if there'd be much of a change. We were just there as a throw-in. We weren't integral to the plot. Us dying at that moment in a lot of cases didn't really change anything. It was just something to do. It took a little time or something. So I think film to a degree would be the same. I think what you get with inclusiveness, with Black people behind the scenes, as editors, as producers, as directors, as stand-ins, when you bring a little style, a little class, I guess, a little Blackness to it, we make it cool. Black people, like we said before, make things cool by our general presence. By being there, we make things cooler. So I think, because there was Scream, I think I've read it, that Scream saved the genre. Like, it was on the low, like there was nothing really coming, and then Scream comes and brings it back. I don't know, I feel like Black people to a degree, we do that. Music is kind of on the low, all of a sudden Black people come out with something. A sport's on the low, you bring a Tiger Woods in, you have a lot of there's a lot of things that were great falling apart, slip a Black person in and we save it. And I don't know, we probably do that, and with horror in some small way, and we don't even really know that we're doing it.
Harvey's right about one thing he said. I mean, probably all things.
One thing.
Probably everything he said he's right about. But the one thing I want to talk about is, like, especially in the 70s, 80s. I mean, again, we want to stop saying for this show, Black people die first. We'll stop saying that.
Right.
But they didn't survive a lot either. So, and he's right that we sprinkled in to get the kills to make sure that the villain is as powerful as they say they are. So they have that body count. So it will be the same. It will be the same shit. I think the trajectory, if Black people were not in horror movies, will be the same way. However, though, there won't be a lot of our movies, by the way. Won't be the Get Outs, to Us, Tales from the Hood, Vampire in Brooklyn's, whatever, scare movies. So, I mean, it'll be boring. It'll be stale. It'll stale as shit, actually. It would probably, the genre would probably die. The honest truth.
No flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
Unseasoned chicken. How are those?
Crime. That's the horror movie right there. Going to a
chicken.
white Thanksgiving.
Oh my God. I would again, it's a movie called Who Made Potato Salad. All right. It's with Jaleel White. It's a comedy. Howard though, you know how fucking great that would be if that was a horror movie that Black people had to go to, like some cookout. And it was unseasoned everything. It had fucking potato salad with raisins in it.
No, what you do is that, so it starts with, I think it starts with like whoever made the potato salad dead on the floor. And the rest of the movie's trying to figure out which Black person killed them. And then you got a line of them like, I tasted it. I didn't kill her, but I wanted to. And then everybody was like, you know what? I didn't do it, but I should have. And everybody explaining why. And everybody brings a different spike.
Man, don't give away the whole plot. You can tell this. Jordan Peele, where you at? So now it is time for the spooky Wheel of Death speed round.
Yeah,
So first question, your favorite final girl?
Well, for me, I'm going Black. I'm going Brandy, and I still know she did last summer because I thought she was dead. Everybody thought she was dead. They should come out fucking crib walking outside that building. And I was happy. Like, she's alive. Oh, there you go. Okay, good for you. So I'm going. On top of my head, I'm going Brandy.
She's like, have you ever survived a horror movie? The next one is, what do you think is the best genre of horror? There's slasher, there's paranormal, What do you like the best?
Slasher. I like gory. If I watch horror, it needs to be absolutely unrealistic. for me, horror it cannot possibly happen. So running around just getting cut, just heads being chopped off, blood everywhere, guts, intestines, all that, that's fun. I think when I go to see more movies, I'm trying to get away from like reality. I want something that's completely, absolutely ridiculous, which is why I love Stephen King, because the stuff that he writes, that shit can't happen for real. And that's why the movies are fun. So I think at least that's the genre then.
So a couple of things. One, I'm with you. My favorite like franchise of horror is Saw. I love Saw. I love Saw. I love Saw with a passion, and because some of those kills are fucking amazing. Saw 6 is my favorite Saw because that last kill, when his body, spoiler, when his body just oozes, like he put the poison into him, and his body just oozes out, and see all guts and that shit's However, though, I do want to say this: we need to start saying what is horror and what is not horror, because something that people say is horror is not fucking horror. Silence of the Lamb is not fucking horror.
That's suspense.
Misery is not horror. Misery is not horror.
It's closer to horror than Silence of the Lamb. I think
some of this shit is not horror to me, and because I can see where the scary, like where people be scared of, but it's, I don't know, it's just shit like that to me is not horror. So we need to come up with some other form or genre, because those movies like those are not horror to me at all.
For Stephen King, the thing with him, what he writes is horror, but what he writes is so imaginative and so hard to like put onto you. I don't know if you can put to film what he says. I think he has a lot of stuff that he's written in horror, and then when you try to make it a movie, it doesn't translate well. But I agree with you. There's a lot of stuff that's not horror that has horror pieces to it, but it's more suspenseful. Like but Seven isn't horror, but it's got some horrible shit in it. Some stuff that happens, but I don't think it's horror. It's suspense. It's the perfect suspenseful film, but I wouldn't consider that a horror movie
ever.
Well, what is a movie that isn't horror but feels like it?
Titanic.
I mean, it would be really scary to crash on a cruise.
Oh no, it's just scary. It's just scary to watch.
Scary because it's bad.
It's just scary because it's horrible.
That's funny. That's terrible, dude. That's terrible. Oh my god. That's not a horror movie, but feels like one. Oh wow.
Well, again, I mean, I have to go off the movie to the set. I mean, the Silence of the Lambs and the Misery. No, again, I'm going more Misery than Silence of the Lambs, because again, Silence of the Lambs is just a really fucking good movie. You probably put that in almost all genres. Misery scares me because I just don't want nobody to fuck my ankle up. I mean, that's the thing.
That's why that's scary, because it's realistic. You can see her just fucking up that man's ankle, and they make sure you see some goriness. That's what's scary about that. So, but that's a good question. What's
really good
horror, but not I don't know. RoboCop. Because it's just so damn bad. It's a terrible movie.
Jurassic Park. And I actually before too. Jurassic Park a horror movie, because again, if shit like Misery and Silence of the Lamb was categorized horror, then Jurassic Park should do me. Dinosaurs come on to eat your ass. Shit, that's be classified as horror.
And some of those Godzilla movies too. I don't know if they're really. I don't think they're horror movies. I don't even know how you would classify those. But some of them early ones.
King Kong gets classified as horror. The original King Kong's is classified as horror.
No way.
It's on the 104.
They're out of their freaking mind. There's no reason. That's a cautionary tale. That's no. King Kong represents something else entirely different. So I couldn't see. Yeah, but they say what they say. In the end, it's walking around with some white woman in danger. That's why they considered horror. That's what
we have to watch Eddie Griffin's. You can tell him I said it. He has the perfect joke about King Kong. He said King Kong's number a black story. He said he grabbed the white bitch, started blowing the hoe. He said they took his white bitch. He swam to New York. He got the white bitch, started climbing. Where's my white bitch? I need my white bitch.
Oh my god!
Listen, that's what he said. I'm not saying that I said
right. Right. We know that's not you. We know that's not you.
Oh my god.
Well, this one's a little lighter. A favorite Halloween costume you've ever had?
ever had. So I don't really just for Halloween in person. However, what I want to do, and I told Cam and Max, I would do this once I start losing weight again. I'm going to be Powerline. I'm going to be Powerline from the Goofy movie, and I'm going to do the dance. There you go. Powerline and Corbin, and not Corbin, Ruby Ride from Fifth Element. I'm going to be Ruby Ride from Fifth Element one time. Like, again, I need to lose a couple pounds, but Corbin dance! Like, I'm ready. I am ready. I'm ready.
Halloween was never a big thing for me, so I never really did the costumes and stuff. But now, as a father and such, and obviously, and I walk my daughters every year to go get candy and such. The only ever thing I ever considered, I don't see myself doing it. For a while, I was like, I could probably raise money if I told people, listen, if I make this amount of money, I would do a Will Smith costume. And I would let people pick the character, whatever movie. But you would have to donate, and then I would wear whatever. So
make the GoFundMe, because I'll put that. I'll put that. And the movie I'll pick is because wait, do you act like him too? Because I would love to see, because you know you hate it. I would love to see you put just a regular black and white suit on. And do we the mid?
Jesus! Oh my God! I'll make this look good. I would just be doing dumb white Will Smith. Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Make the GoFundMe.
All right. What is the best weapon you think you would use to survive in a horror movie? Like something off the wall.
It would be it would be a white person's dog, because they're not gonna kill me if I'm holding their dog. White people love their animals. They love their animals. No, don't leave Scruffy alone. Let me get off the property, or I will slit it. I would hold some. That would be my survival tactic.
Harvey, my answer is more fucked up. My answer is white people themselves. I will throw some white people. He's coming. Because again, the old trope is I don't have to be faster than you.
Yeah.
I just have to make sure. I'll run you. I would trip the shit out of you, and then you just got square with Jason. That's on you. All right, but again, it's white people themselves. I will throw them and they'll just run until I can't run no more.
The way they talk about black on black crime, just look at white on white crime in film. What? Yeah. I would kill my aunt to survive. Kill her, dead. Aunt Helen, she goes. I gotta make it off right now.
I mean, when I watch The Walking Dead, I'm always like, like I would have pushed you, I would have shoved you. I'm sorry if you were. I mean, I say a lot of horrible things when I was watching The Walking Dead. But our last question, or for the spooky round, is which house would you rather spend one night in? The house from Hereditary, Get Out, or Texas Chainsaw?
Well, to me, it won't be Texas Chainsaw. That is the last one. Fuck that. However, though, I don't remember Hereditary. I'm not gonna lie.
It's cults. It's very cult and creepy. People were just just in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. Shit. Yeah, I don't remember Hereditary. Maybe I haven't seen it, and now I need to see it. So
Hereditary is good.
So do we get any weapons in this house, or just in the house, but just
spending the night, man?
Do we bring things? I'm just saying.
I mean, you can have an overnight bag if you want.
Well, my night come with a gun, so that happens. I think I'm good. I think I'm good with Get Out. Get Out was such a house, because I can shoot that white bitch. Personally,
I don't know. Get Out, I'd be concerned with. Black people that go up into that house don't make it out, so nope. Not doing it. Texas Chainsaw. It might be Texas Chainsaw, because the garage is the problem. I feel like you go outside, that's your ass. If I stay maybe in the master bathroom, lock the door, I might make it out alive. But I'm not going anywhere near where the chainsaws or the faces and such. I think I would try to survive with TCM.
Well, you survived this. So can you remind people where they can find Love is Black? Men of the Prize, and Masturbators Online. We'll go reverse alphabetical this time. Andre.
Okay, so hello. Thank you again to Kendra for having us on. This is very, very fun talking about Black and horror. So for Masturbators, again, you can follow me on every last single podcast site there is, including YouTube. Also, a website, the IDMNTR podcast.com. Network.com. Yeah, podcastnetwork.com. There you go. So IDMTR podcastnetwork.com, where you can find the shows that we're talking about now. You can also find Crime Rewind, even at the movies, Literature Reapers, and Syphilis. And also, things that Kendra loves to write as well. Big shout out to her for doing all the background for the website. And yeah, this is very, very fun. Thanks for having us.
And for me, you can find, like I mentioned, you can find Men of the Prize at harveythegear.com. All season 1 and 2 are there, and I am prepping for season 3, so that's coming. You can also find Love is Black, the great Black love story that we are writing week to week. As we record this, the next episode will come out tomorrow, which is Thursday, but there's no time. Every week we're dropping a chapter, just talking about great Black love, no horror there, all happy. We like it that way. loveisblackpodcast.com. That's where you can find us.
Well, you two, thank you for coming on. Thank you for surviving and talking about Black folks in horror with me today. And everyone, you can find all their information below. And as always, until next time, keep crushing it. Crushgasm is part of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network, alongside some other pretty cool shows, including An Evening at the Movies, Crime Rewind, Literature Reapers, Love is Black, Masturbators, Men of the Prize, and The Syphilis. You can find all of us and more over at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com.